Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Digitally Immune podcast. Here we discuss digital addiction and we give insights specifically to business owners, entrepreneurs, employees who have a side business, and everybody that wants to level up, eliminate digital distractions, and operate at your highest focus.
On today's episode, we're going to discuss questions like: are you addicted? How do you know if it's an addiction or just a habit? What are the experts saying about this addiction? And I have something very special for you today. So stick around as we share invaluable insights about digital addiction, how to overcome this addiction, and how to become digitally immune. So let's get started.
Awesome.
Maria, you have asked yourself these questions for a long time. And there has been a time where you have been confused. What caused this confusion?
Nicole, with this question, you're taking me back to a time that I was really frustrated. So around 5 years ago, when I started saying to myself, this is not normal, how much time I'm spending on the phone, on the screens. And I was very confused at the time because first thing I did before ChatGPT, I went into Google and I started asking questions like, how many hours on YouTube is okay? How do I reduce my screen time? How do I know if I'm addicted or not? I didn't give the word digitally back then. And the answers I was getting back then were very shallow, as if somebody was just throwing articles on the internet without deep research, because nothing I was reading was actually touching on how I was actually feeling. So I was confused, as you said. The research on Google wasn't helping. And so the second thing that I did was I checked the DSM-5. And the DSM-5 is a book. It's a very, very fat book that it's used by psychologists in clinical psychology, and it's used to diagnose mental disorders. And for each disorder out there, you have a list of symptoms. Let's say you are doubting yourself that you have ADD or ADHD. You open this book, you go through the chapter on ADHD, and you look at the symptoms. There's 12 of them, and then you have to meet, I think, 6 out of the 12 or 9 out of the 12 to consider yourself, okay, I think I am ADD or ADHD. And then you would reach out for help. And so when I checked the DSM-5, I didn't find any information about what I was actually going through and what I was feeling.
That's the crazy part.
The closest thing I found, and I told you back then, was something around internet gaming. I felt some resemblance, but very, very little. And nothing was giving me the answers I needed to know if I am addicted or not, and what should I do about it?
So this has been the reason why so many people are confused. So we've seen it with our friends, with our colleagues, with our clients. Whenever we talk about this topic, it's like a light bulb lights up in with our friends, and they started asking like, but I'm not addicted, am I? Or I just use my phone a lot, but I need to use it. And so it's really hard to say, okay, this person is addicted. What's the degree of addiction? And this difficulty is creating a lot of confusion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And Nicole, there's a reason, and that we figured out with time, there's a reason why everybody is confused on the topic.
True.
And I know you went deep into the research to understand what's happening. So can you touch on that point a little?
Yeah, of course. Well, when you shared with me your frustration that you can't find anything online, I started digging deep into... I wanted to understand like why there's no clear process, clear guideline, clear standard that says this is an addiction, this person is an addict, or this person is addicted. I don't like to say is an addict as an identity, but more like this person has an addiction or doesn't have an addiction, or that's the degree of addiction. There was no clear standard. And so I went deep to understand why. What are the reasons? Why isn't it like other addictions? And I found 3 fascinating things.
Tell.
First, there's no sufficient research. 2, you have problems with the existing research. And 3, you have inconsistent scales.
Explain.
I will explain. It's a lot of buzzwords, but I'll explain.
Yeah, and I love when you talk about this confusion.
Yeah, and so the first part, insufficient research, it's not my judgment. It's the American Psychiatric Association that concluded that there's the research out there about digital addiction is not sufficient for it to be clearly defined, for it to for them to put a name on it and include it in the DSM-5 that you talked about.
Yeah.
And then you have the problems with how they're measuring addiction in the research. So there was a study that has been done on around 1,300 papers published, research papers, and they found that 50% or nearly 50% of them were measuring digital addiction without measuring actual phone use. Like, great, let me ask, let me check if you have an addiction to alcohol, but I don't ask you how many drinks you have per week. Like, it's completely irrational.
Yeah.
Also, with the measurement, they used to rely on self-reporting. So basically, they just ask people how many times you used your phone, how many hours you used your phone, but it's self-reporting. And self-reporting is very inaccurate because we underestimate how many times we grab our phone.
True.
Or how much time we spend on our phone.
True. I always underestimate it, and then I check, and it's way over than what I thought I spent.
So this is what makes the research very biased and unreliable, honestly. So the third point about the scales. Basically, a scale is supposed to tell you the degree of your addiction. You know, like how a scale tells you how much you weigh, or so it's similar. It's a scale to tell you how, like, the percentage of your addiction.
Okay.
Somehow.
Okay.
The problem with these scales is that first you have as of today, you have 78 validated scales. Now, imagine you have two scales. Let's to make it simple. Imagine you have scale A and scale B. On scale A, you have one symptom, and with this symptom, you are classified as 30% addicted on scale A.
Okay.
You go to scale B with the same symptom, you classify as 5% addicted. We don't understand why.
For the same symptom.
Same symptom, two different scales, you have a completely different result. So it's like, it only fuels the confusion, basically.
Yeah.
Add to that, I'll add to you one more fascinating. This was like, I don't know if I can say fascinating, it's even worrying. You have, so I told you there's 78 scales. 68 of them failed at what we call the test-retest reliability test. Test-retest reliability experiment. Yeah. Which basically means, let's say you're taking only scale A. We forgot about scale B. We're talking about one scale. And you test yourself the first time with all your symptoms. You classify as 90% addicted. You don't change anything on the same day, on the same your weather, on the same all factors. You keep all factors the same. You redo the same test on the same scale. You classify as 5% addicted.
Oh, wow.
So this removes the whole purpose. Like, why do I even... Imagine you're weighing yourself and you have a scale that on the same day, you weigh 70 kilograms, you go back up, you're 50, you go back up, you're 100.
It's unreliable.
Did you just throw it? Might as well throw it away. I mean...
Yeah, okay. I see. So all of that is the reason why I couldn't find anything online regarding a clear-cut answer. Am I addicted or not? What to do?
There's I call it measurement chaos. It's really chaos out there.
It is. And it sounds like it, exactly. And there's one thing that I was thinking about lately, and it's really specific to this type of addiction that we're talking about. With digital addiction, there's something very different than all other addictions. Let's say you are addicted to alcohol. With alcohol, you have one substance, which is alcohol. You have one behavior, which is you drink. It's very specific. You go to the manuals, you have this diagnosis, these substances, clear. However, with what we're calling today digital addiction, there is a variety of substances, or in our case, it's the addictive platforms. There's a variety of behaviors ranging from scrolling to binging to posting to engaging to a very different type of behaviors and to different degrees of this behavioral addiction. In terms of degrees, like you have lightly addicted, moderately addicted, heavily addicted. So there's this addiction in itself is very fundamentally different than everything else we've seen. The behaviors are very different. The platforms are, it's a very wide spectrum, and the degrees are very different. And I think this could have been the reason why it's making the experts so confused also, and taking so much time to get to the bottom of it.
That's so true.
Yeah. And it's only gonna get worse because new platforms, addictive platforms, are coming out each day. So the research better hurry to catch up for what's happening in the market.
Yeah, you're right. But also, research is catching up. And not only research, even like work on the ground is catching up. So that's the good news. And so we see now so many groups working on it because so many people are actually raising their hand and saying, hey, I need help. Something is going on. And so many people are working on the ground to help with digital addiction. You have, for example, the ITAA.
I joined that group, yeah.
So it's like the Alcoholic Anonymous, but it's for digital addiction. You have so many offline clubs that are spreading across Europe.
True.
You have therapists that are helping their clients with digital addiction, specifically with addictive behaviors. And you have us, the Digitally Immune movement, we're helping driven entrepreneurs, driven individuals break free from this digital addiction, and based on our personal experience and our deep research.
True, because we're finding that people like us are often the ones that are saying, like you're saying, like this is not normal, this can't be it. It's not normal that I'm spending this much time on my phone, on my screen. Like, I'm sure there must be a better way, and that's the reason why we've been having these discussions.
Exactly. If you notice, the people who are raising their hand, the people who are going to the ITAA meetings or to our programs or watching this podcast today, they're the people who have something meaningful in their life that they don't want to lose, like a job or a career or a business or a relationship that they feel that they're jeopardizing and they don't want to lose. Or they have a big goal, a big mission that they want to achieve, and they know that this behavior is holding them back.
I see. So they don't want to risk losing it. Yeah. Now that we've touched on the fact that there's chaos in knowing are people addicted or not, what can you bring us today? Because I've asked you, like, how can you help our audience today have some clarity on this topic? How to know if a person is addicted or not?
That's my favorite part. I actually prepared something. Let me grab it.
Exciting. Okay, so what did you prepare here?
Basically, I knew today's topic and I prepared something for all of you guys. What I did is I combined all the research that we have read with the guidelines that the DSM-5 gives about addictive behaviors, with experiences that our clients have shared with us. I put them all together. I cross-compared all of the different patterns, whatever is in common, and I prepared this board. This board is equivalent to the 12 most common symptoms for digital addiction.
Interesting. I'm excited.
So what we're gonna do now is you're gonna open them one by one.
Okay.
Why? Because I think that you have experienced all 12 of these symptoms at some point.
Okay.
And let's see if you agree.
Okay.
So you open one, we discuss it, we'll see if you agree or not, and then we'll move to the next one.
Okay.
Does that work?
Okay, and so let's say I meet 8 out of them, out of the 12. That means I should be alerted and seek help. That's the what you mean? Okay,
Yeah.
so I shouldn't meet all of them.
You don't have to meet all of them.
Okay.
They're just the most common ones. Like
Okay.
if you have a lot of them, then yeah, reach out to us.
Okay.
We can have a talk.
Okay. Deal. All right, I'm gonna get started. Number 1. Sorry, my brain is occupied. What do you mean?
Basically, it means that you think about the next time you're gonna scroll or watch. You think about the previous time you scrolled or watched. It's something that is very, very recurrent in your daily life. Like
Okay.
you are preoccupied with when are you gonna watch next? What are you gonna watch next? When's like the tiny break that you can just hold your phone and check? So it's really like it's in the back of your mind the whole time.
Exactly. Like I told you last time, like when I used to be in the shower, I'm thinking about what I watched, what's gonna happen next, what could the character do in the next episode. It was it took central stage. Everything I consumed took central stage in my brain all the time. It's all I thought about. Central stage.
Exactly.
I agree on the first one. Okay.
You want me to?
I think I can handle it. Number 2, flashbacks.
Flashbacks.
Okay, what do you mean?
Basically, what is flashbacks? Basically, you start having flashbacks. You start remembering bits and pieces of things you watched in the past at random times. Like, let's say you're at work and suddenly you get a flashback of a scene from a movie that you watched last week, or you remember negative news, and then you suddenly start feeling anxious and you don't know why.
Yeah.
So these are.
I used to, as you said, sometimes I would be in very random moments and I would remember something unrelated, out of the blue, very intrusive thoughts that I consumed online. And I've been thinking about something lately that I feel that I have in my brain now more memories of people that I don't know than memories that are my own.
Wow.
So flashbacks are definitely true.
But because the brain doesn't know the difference between what you watch and real life. Like for your brain, it's like it's a memory. It doesn't know if it's a fake memory or a real memory.
I see. Just like when you watch somebody eating or licking a lemon, you feel that it's stop it, even though it's not real.
True.
Okay, I agree on the second one. Let's go number 3. Withdrawal. Explain.
So withdrawal symptoms, basically you start feeling withdrawal symptoms whenever you stop scrolling, or you stop binging, or you stop watching, or you stop replying. So whatever the behavior is, if you stop for a few days, then you start feeling withdrawal symptoms like sadness, anxiety, stress, irritability. These are the withdrawal symptoms.
I don't fully feel withdrawal symptoms, but I do, however, feel a little bit of irritability, as you said. I get a little bit annoyed when somebody interrupts me when I'm watching or scrolling. I get annoyed and I'm like, I can't wait to go back to watching or scrolling again. Just stop bothering me. So I get a little bit annoyed. It's true, but not much.
Yeah, but first remember you don't have to fit all of them. And every person is different. Every person is a different case, and you might experience these symptoms to a different degree.
Okay.
Like, do you remember this woman who told us about how she felt when she decided to do phone-free Fridays?
True. She wanted to stop using the phone every Friday. I remember it. Her case was very extreme.
Exactly. So that woman, she promised her husband and who promised herself that she's gonna stop using her phone on Friday, but instead of feeling relieved with this decision, her anxiety went through the roof. Her stress was crazy. She couldn't sleep because of the stress.
True.
She couldn't focus on anything else all week, not on Friday, but all week leading up to Friday. She was so scared of Friday. She was so scared, like, how can I make it through Friday without my phone? So it really took it all on her.
Yeah.
And the thing is with withdrawal symptoms, they feel so harsh and they feel so painful when you're having them. That's what makes people go back to, like, screw it, I'm just gonna just use the phone, and to remove this pain, they just go back to the behavior. But what we should remember is that withdrawal symptoms are temporary. Like this woman, she kept pushing.
Yeah.
Because she promised her husband, she kept pushing for her husband. When week after week, the withdrawal symptoms start getting easier and just smaller in how intense exactly.
I remember.
Thank
her.
you. And how intense they were, and now she's just like, now it's a habit. Like on Friday, she doesn't use her phone, and she doesn't even feel this kind of anxiety and stress leading up to Friday.
Yeah, I remember her case very well. Yeah, you're right. So different people feel these withdrawal symptoms to different degrees. Okay, agreed on it. Number 4. Tolerance. Do tell.
So, tolerance is basically that you need more of the behavior to feel the same amount of pleasure. So, the best example is alcohol. When you say a person has high tolerance to alcohol, means like they can drink instead of 2 drinks to feel tipsy, they need 4 drinks to feel tipsy or 6 drinks to feel tipsy. So, it's higher and higher tolerance.
Okay.
And the same thing with watching, like high tolerance to watching is like first time you watch one episode, you're happy, you're satisfied, you go back to your work. The next time you want to watch, you feel like one episode is not enough. You need 3 to feel satisfied. The next time, 5 to feel satisfied. Next thing you know, you're all watching all night to feel the same kind of, the same level of pleasure.
I fully agree. And same thing with scrolling. First it's 15 minutes, and then 30, and then next time I'm scrolling for an hour or 2. I agree on this one. Number 5, unsuccessful attempts.
So basically, just like the word says, unsuccessful attempts is you have tried to stop in the past and it didn't work. And like multiple times.
Okay. I definitely tried and failed many, many times. So I agree to this one. Number 6. Real life is boring. Ouch. Yes.
Yeah. This basically means when you start believing and feeling that what you're watching is much more interesting than your real life. So you start losing interest in your hobbies, in what you like to do, your activities. You start canceling out on outing with friends because it's much more interesting to just watch. And what's behind the screen is much more interesting than your real life.
What you're saying is so very true. And I've reflected on that before, and I've said to myself, sometimes I feel like what I feel inside this screen is way more intense and hooky, and I'm more emotionally invested, and I feel more in when I'm watching that screen than when I feel outside of that screen in my own real life. As you said, everything else felt less exciting and more boring.
Exactly.
Yeah. On point and painful. Number 7. Trance-like state. I think I know this one.
You definitely do.
It's what I described last time when I was telling you, like, I would be scrolling or watching, and there's a voice in my head telling me, stop, stop, stop. But it's like I'm hypnotized. I can't stop.
That's exactly it.
Okay.
So you feel, you know the voice in your head telling you to stop, but it's like you're stuck in a loop.
Okay. Okay.
You tell me when you need me to start removing if it's far for you.
No, it's fine. I'm doing a little bit of
You're
sports.
enjoying.
Number 8. I know, but I can't. Okay.
Does that sound familiar? Basically, this is when the person knows that their behavior is impacting their life. They know they have negative consequences on their life, but they just can't stop.
I see. Just like all of us who say we know we shouldn't scroll first thing in the morning, but still it's the first thing we do in the morning. Okay.
100%.
Okay, makes sense. Number 9. Still showing? Yeah. Number 9. Hiding.
So it's when a person deceives, lies, hides the behavior from their loved ones, their family, their friends, their therapist, or just alters reality about how much they are pulled or how much they can't stop, how much they're scrolling basically or watching.
I see. Just like I hid from you for years what was going on and from everybody around me. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically because usually the person feels ashamed.
Like I did.
Yeah, and
confused also.
And confused.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, maybe. Okay, no. Number 10, emotional exhaustion.
So, well, when you feel emotionally drained, when you feel like after a long session of watching or scrolling, you feel like your emotions were pulled in all different directions. And that's basically related to what we talked last time about the emotional roller coaster. Like you're watching, and it's just, we talked about measurement chaos. This is emotional chaos. You go up, down, happy, sad,
Exactly.
anxious, stress, sleepy, and then back to happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're calling it emotional exhaustion. I used to use the word, I still use it. I feel like my emotions are fried, literally fried, and my brain too. But like my emotions, like drained, done, fried, and it's because I scrolled too much.
Yep.
Usually that's why. Okay. Number 11. Escape. Cool symptoms. Escape. Explain.
So this is when actually a person would go for the phone or go for Netflix or whatever the behavior, the digital consumption, to escape an uncomfortable situation or uncomfortable emotions. And so it's an easy way to just numb your brain.
It's like what you explained last time, the emotional regulation. Okay. Okay, makes
That's
sense.
cool, you were following.
Makes sense. Okay, last one.
Last
I'm
test.
gonna touch the mic a little bit. Loss or on the way. What does that mean?
So the 12th symptom, loss or on the way, basically is when a person risks or loses something very important. So like let's say you have a big business opportunity, you have a big presentation the next day, you know you need to be sharp, but you would take the risk and watch all night even though you know you're risking a very big opportunity the next day.
Like what used to happen with me, and I would like have a presentation, super important one, and I find myself watching until the morning hours and then messing it up.
Exactly.
Loss or on the way, I fully agree.
So I talked about, I gave the example of a business opportunity, but it could be even like losing a relationship, losing a job, losing business opportunity, something important, and you know you're risking it just to scroll a bit more.
I see. And with all these symptoms, to be fully transparent with you, you've touched on so many points, but it still feels like the tip of the iceberg. Because I feel even more like I feel sometimes that my memory is affected. I sometimes forget things in the middle of when I'm saying them, or what. Like one time I was in a meeting with my manager and I forgot where I am and who is this person in front of me and what am I even doing here. Like my short-term memory and my long-term memory, my ability to remember things has been impacted a lot. Another thing I've also noticed is that my self-confidence has been really low for years because of this, and it took me a lot of effort to lift it up. And I've also noticed that what I just explained, the fried emotions, I've also felt a fried brain, like a very tired brain for a long time. So yeah, these symptoms are all correct, and there's way more even.
I fully agree. There's much more. And yes, I didn't put all of them. Here you have the most common ones. But with more people sharing, with more people talking to us also and telling us what they're feeling, we are noticing new patterns. So for sure, this is like a living list that is gonna keep on growing, I believe. And even with the research, like the research is catching up. I saw a research the last time, and it's about how doom scrolling can actually shrink your brain and reduce the gray area in your brain.
Oh, wow.
And so this is just an example, but yes, I think we're going to find more and more research.
This is all very new. Exactly. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now for somebody like me 5 years ago, now I have an idea. Okay, now I need to be alerted. There must be a problem here. What do I do next? Like, what's the solution? What do I do next now that I'm aware I might have a problem?
Okay. the first solution is to, once you go over this list and you feel like you can relate, in the back of your mind saying, me too, that's me, then this is when it becomes alarming, when you have many symptoms. And the first thing to do is to seek professional help. You can reach out to us. You can reach out to your therapist. Professional help that can help you talk it through and work through this addiction. It's much better than keeping it to yourself and trying to fix things on your own.
Okay.
That's the first one. And the second solution, I would say, is to, and this one is very, very important, because I think this is where the productivity gurus give the wrong advice. Most gurus, they give you quick wins to reduce the symptoms or to fix the symptoms. But the real long-lasting solution is to work on the underlying problem, on the root cause. Like, what did trigger this addiction in the first place? What are you escaping? We talked about escape. What are you escaping? What are you trying to, why are you numbing your brain? And once you work on the underlying problem, of course, the symptoms are good to also work on, but the underlying problem is the core. This is where it's like you have a transformation.
I see. I can definitely relate to that, because I've tested all the friction devices out there and the tools and the tricks, and they don't work for long. Like, I downloaded the app lockers. I bought a device that locks my phone away. It locks the screen and then you put it back. I bought a box that I put in my kitchen where I put the box in it. I put the grayscale mode on. I removed the notifications. I tried every trick in the book and they work. These are things that just give me some momentum. They worked for a week or two, but at some point, I failed. Everything went back to how it was. They didn't work for long.
I would tell you, like, you didn't fail, they failed. It's really like the tricks failed because the tricks are wrong. They are fixing the wrong problem.
The symptoms.
Yeah. Like, imagine you have a wound and you need to treat the wound before you put the Band-Aid on.
Yeah, true.
And and research is actually catching up. I found the research last time, a study that showed what you talked about, removing the notifications. It found that removing the notifications had no significant impact on your time on device, on your screen time. Why? Because actually 50 to 80% of the times we open the phone without a notification trigger.
I see.
So yeah, you can remove the notifications, but they're not even the notification is not the one that's telling you to open the phone. We reach for our phone subconsciously.
I see.
There's also another one about digital detox. Actually, you have the same numbers. Like your experience, you could have been in this research. It says that when people who went on digital detox, and when they came back from the digital detox, after 2 weeks, their screen time went back to their previous, like before detox.
So it all went back to the baseline.
Exactly.
Exactly like how I used to feel. And I remember this friend, she used to be addicted to or spend too much time gaming. Every time she comes back from work, she's on her laptop gaming all night. And it created a lot of problems with her partner. And they spoke about it for years, but she couldn't stop. And then they separated. And then she got with another partner, and then she got into therapy. And she realized that back then she was actually severely depressed and she was having generalized anxiety. So as you said, like, treat the wound before you put a Band-Aid on it. The Band-Aid is the screen.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, so if you have a friend who you feel is struggling with digital addiction, or you feel is struggling with they can't control their time on the screen, just remember that asking them how many hours you spend on your phone is not the right question to ask.
Yeah.
The right question to ask is, what are they avoiding? What are they trying to escape? What needs aren't being met? Or what would fill that emotional space if the phone was not there?
Mm-hmm. And what worked for me, for example, is one, understanding my own patterns, what's going on inside me. understanding the wiring that's happening in my brain, rewiring it, and really touching on everything in my life that I was escaping from and running to a screen. And I started addressing these life circumstances that were not making me happy and speaking out about it, seeking therapy, reliable therapy. I want to emphasize that because if you remember, I had a big issue with that. So seek professional help, but make sure it's really reliable. And that was part of the journey. I call it my freedom process. Yeah.
Can I ask you to, now because you talked about reliable help, can I ask you to share the pickle story?
The pickle story is a story that gets me angry. So what happened was around 3 years ago, a bit more, I decided to seek coaching from a person she's very known in the field of addiction, alcohol addiction or other substance addiction. And back then there was no person specified in digital addiction. So I was like, this person might help me. Let me speak to her. And I booked coaching sessions with her. She started giving me some tricks. They helped for a while. I started implementing. She was the one that gave me the idea for the box in the kitchen and to lock my phone away in it. So I saw some progress with her for around 4 or 5 sessions, 4 or 5 weeks. But at some point, if you remember, on the 5th session, she told me, Maria, you have to accept that once a pickle, always a pickle. And I was like, what do you mean? This is completely out of context. Like, what do you mean? And she told me, you have to understand that once you're an addict, or a pickle, you can never go back to being a cucumber. You can never go back to how you were. And I'm like, okay, I need to adopt now this identity. I am a pickle.
And I know that you're very visual. So when someone tells you you're a pickle, you probably imagine yourself transforming into a pickle.
I am very visual, so it was very odd for me to start imagining that. Yeah. And I asked her, really, I need to adopt this identity to heal? She told me, yeah, this is part of the healing journey. I'm like, okay. And you know what happened after that? Once I believed what she told me, I'm a pickle, I'm an addict, I need to accept that and live with it, and I will never go back to how I was, I started seeing less progress. Everything that progressed, I went back on. I was watching more than when I started. I was binge watching more than I was when I started. Everything ended up being more. And I was very frustrated. And I stopped my coaching sessions after a while. And I was like, this is really bad. I'm worse than I was. And then I stumbled upon some of the work of Tony Robbins. And I remember there's a chapter in his podcast. He says, you need to realize the power of identity. Everything you put after the words I am is very important. If you say I am something, you're going to become that thing because your subconscious is going to work towards fulfilling that identity, no matter what you say to yourself. So if I said I am an addict, I'm a pickle, I'm going to become that. No matter how much effort I try to not be that, I will be that. And so when I listened to his podcast, I decided, okay, maybe I should actually say I am powerful. I am free. I am not tempted by whatever temptation comes my way. And I started saying these things on repeat. And what happened next is that I actually got better results. My brain started working towards fulfilling these identities. I am free. And I used to call myself Super Maria. I am Super Maria. I am not tempted. My brain worked towards fulfilling this identity because it came after the words I am. And that's why I emphasize on the point, you need to get reliable professional help because not every guru or professional out there is going to help you. You need to have critical thinking to discern, is this advice really helping me or is it not? Is it setting me back? Yeah, that's the story that pisses me off.
I remember that every time you tell the story and you remember it, you get triggered.
Yes. And by the way, I went and I researched more about why do they say this sentence? Why did it come up? And it turns out they use this sentence a lot in alcohol addiction, in the AA meetings. And that sentence for them means that basically consuming alcohol for a long time has altered the brain chemicals, and that's what they believe. It altered the brain chemicals to the point that a person that was addicted to alcohol can never go back to not being addicted. Like their brain will always look at alcohol and say, pleasure, 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 pleasure. Any sight of anything that reminds a person that was addicted to alcohol, like maybe the glass or the bottle or the smell or even passing by their favorite bar, is gonna make them want to consume again.
Oh.
That's why she told me once a pickle, always a pickle, because for her, she was previously addicted to alcohol, to wine specifically, and I forgot to tell you that. She wouldn't allow her husband or her children to get any bottle of wine or anything related to wine into the house, because the sight of it made her want to consume again. And her advice works for alcohol addiction or substance addiction, but it doesn't work for my case. It doesn't work for digital addiction. And especially for our audience, like, doesn't make sense to tell you, Nicole, if you are addicted to your phone, throw the phone away and keep it outside of your home. It doesn't work, because creators, business owners, entrepreneurs, self-employed, everybody is trying to build something. They need to use these platforms that are addictive to be in the presence of these platforms and be in control. We need to not have the urge to overconsume, consume recklessly when we are in the presence of all these addictive platforms, and not run away, because running away is not the solution, especially if we want to succeed.
Exactly. You're so on point. And actually, this is how we came up with the name digitally immune. Because being immune is being in the presence of the platforms, in the presence of the devices, your phone, your laptop, your even the platforms, everything. You can see them. They can be around you. You're at home. They are there. But you don't have the urge. You can resist the urge to just consume.
Yeah.
This is being digitally immune. This is why we don't say you throw away your phone or you are offline, you completely disconnect. No, you need the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like we would be lying to ourselves if we say, yes, I can disconnect and go sit in the woods. I mean, whoever wants to have the disconnected life, so be it. But then you can't have the impact that you want to have in your life without the use of technology. The only difference is that you need to use technology and not let it use you.
Exactly. That's what we always say. Yeah. So for me, my journey and my freedom journey, what got me the results that I wanted was finding reliable help, speaking out about it, addressing everything that I was running away from, all the life circumstances that wouldn't make me happy, getting real social connection, genuine social connections, not through a screen. And really basically just not escaping anymore and dealing with what's going on internally and rewiring it. So yeah, that was, to answer your question fully, that was my freedom process.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
As you said, all these friction tools and friction devices and the things that work on the symptoms, they work for a while. They're good for momentum to start getting some quick wins. But what you really need to do is to work on the underlying problem and to work on what's happening inside you to have the real transformation and the long-lasting change.
That's true. That's true. I love that. And we will be here with you in this journey. Use technology. Don't let it use you. Tune in for our next episode. And as always, we wish you freedom and success.